internet, it's Monica, and today I am going to be filming a much requested video. I am going to be filming a tattoo tour. So this has been requested many times in the past, and I was actually planning on waiting a little bit longer until I got my next tattoo, but I don't know when that's gonna be. So I just figured I might as well film it now, and when I get that next tattoo, I'll probably vlog the experience anyways, so it'll be fine. I have a few small tattoos across my body, and I thought it'd be fun to just talk through them, tell you about why I got them, the meaning behind them. So a couple quick disclaimers. One, I am a huge metaphor, symbolism kind of girl, so I put a lot of meaning behind each of my tattoos. However, I fully believe that you can get a tattoo for whatever reason. It doesn't have to be because you have this deep meaning to it. Maybe you just like the art. Whatever is the reason for getting a tattoo, I think they're all valid and real. I am just not that kind of person. Like, I have to have meaning behind everything, which, you know, is a good or a bad thing depending on who you are, but that's just who I am as a person. So there's that. Second of all, I recognize that my tattoos are not everyone's taste, but they are mine and they're on my body, and I chose them because I like them. And I'm not making this video to say you should get these tattoos or that I think they're the best tattoos in the world, but just to share them because I've been asked to share this video quite a few times in the past. I just know that people have a lot of very, very strong opinions when it comes to tattoos about what's good and what's bad, and you know, I just feel like we can all maybe be a bit more relaxed about it, and just let people live their lives. So without further ado, I'm gonna jump on in with my very first tattoo, which is the tattoo that I actually regret the most and am wanting to get faded so that I can eventually get it covered up. It is the very first tattoo that I ever got, and it is, funnily enough, the tattoo that I spent the longest time debating. I find this funny because everyone always says like, oh, I want to wait to get a tattoo that I know really means something to me and that I'm gonna want for years and years and years. And this is the tattoo that I sat on and thought about for years before I got it. Like, I contemplated this idea for so long, and it's actually the tattoo that I like the least and want to get removed / covered up. And it is this tattoo on my wrist, and it says always, and it has supposedly the 3 stars from the Harry Potter books that are on like the top corner of the American editions of the books. So why do I dislike this tattoo? One, I was in a really bad mental place when I went. It's inspired by 2 things. There's like this line from Winnie the Pooh, and it's actually, I think, from the Winnie the Pooh film and not the books, but it's like the line ends with "I'll always be with you," and then of course always from Harry Potter, which is the thing that Snape says. I know that people hate Snape and like, I always get flack for this because I will say that Snape is legitimately probably one of my favorite characters in the Harry Potter universe. And I don't say that as in I want to be best friends with Snape or I see him as this romantic hero, but I legitimately think he is like a very interesting character, and I loved following his story arc. I got this. I still like the sentiment behind it, and if I ever am able to get it faded, like, laser tattoo removal is expensive and it takes a lot of time, but if I am ever able to get it done, then I would probably redo this in a different font somewhere else in a style that I actually like, because that's the other thing about it, is it's in a traditional tattoo style. It has a few blowouts in it. I don't like the font. I don't like the way it was done. I think it was like very like deep in there. The lines are really thick. It's just not my style at all. So yeah, and I think, you know, a lot of it is because of it's like, you know, it's my first tattoo. I didn't really know how to talk to tattoo artists, and I didn't really know to, you know, seek out a tattoo artist who did a style that I loved. I was just sort of like, oh, you go to a good tattoo artist, like someone who's rated highly, and they're able to do what you want to do. And so I didn't really think at the time about like actually finding an artist who specializes in an art style that I loved. And so, you know, of course, you know, this artist is a traditional tattoo artist, and of course he wasn't able to do the style that I wanted. So I don't like this tattoo, but at the same time, what I will say is that this tattoo was very freeing for me because I never look at my wrist and I'm like, ugh, I hate my wrist, or it doesn't like upset me, you know? And so it is this sort of freeing ability to just say like, hey, I don't like this tattoo, that's okay. Like, it's not impacting me in any negative way, and it doesn't make me dislike my arm. And yeah, so that was really freeing for me to like move on and just get tattoos that I wanted because there were things that I loved, and to not like fear about like the one day that I might dislike that tattoo. I'll also say that I have a friend, Kate, who once said this thing that her tattoos, because people always say like, oh, I want a tattoo that I'll love forever. And she said like, you know, I don't see my tattoos as like, this is me forever. This is me at this point when I got that tattoo. 10 years down the line, I might not love that design or that thing, whatever it is, as much as I did when I was 20 or 30 or whatever, whatever age you get a tattoo. But it is sort of like this moment in time encapsulated on your body, and I think that there's like a beauty to that. So that's sort of been my thought process with tattoos, is to not worry so much about like, oh, am I gonna love that forever, and like I love that thing now, and this is who I am now, and like this person that I am now is always going to be part of me. So that's kind of how I feel about that. The next tattoo I got is on my foot, and it is a open book on my heel. And honestly, I always forget that I have this tattoo because it's on my foot and I never see it. If I were getting this today, again, it's not the style that I particularly like. It's traditional, you know, thicker lines type of tattoo. Probably wouldn't get it in this style, but I like this tattoo. I got it because I loved books. I still love books. And I love the idea of like sort of books being like my foundation and grounding me, so that's why I got it there. And honestly, I think the traditional style works well in this spot because it is sort of like a high traction area that gets like rubbed a lot, that isn't like taken care of in the same way that the rest of my skin typically is. So it's probably for the best that this is like a thicker tattoo than what I would typically choose now. But yeah, this tattoo, I love it. It's not the style that I would choose to do now, but I still love it. And yeah, it's my book tattoo. Then the third tattoo that I got with a bunch of my friends. I got basically myself, Kat, Sarah, and Emma at Book Expo in Chicago a couple of years ago. Went and all got Harry Potter tattoos together, and I got Harry's wand. And this is one that like immediately after I got it, I had this like sinking feeling of like, oh my god, what have you done? Because it's like this was my first like out there fandom tattoo where it's like a wand, and I was like, why would you do that? But I love Harry Potter, and I loved the idea of like, you know, this is my wand arm, and I loved the idea of like, you know, it's also my writing hand, and like having like magic in your hand and magic always being there with you. I loved that whole idea with it. I got Harry's wand because he's Harry and I love Harry. Again, this is a thicker tattoo, traditional style. But I don't mind that. I actually really like it. This is the one that like I forget about because I never see it, like unless I'm looking in a mirror, like I never see this tattoo. But it's the one that starts the most conversations. So like random strangers will be like, oh, are you a big Harry Potter fan? And I'll be like, how did you know? And then it's like, oh, because I have this tattoo. So yeah, I love that one for that reason, because it is a really good icebreaker and conversation starter. And I just love having this little bit of magic with me everywhere I go. So then the next tattoo I got while I was living in Paris. And I got this bouquet right here. On it there is a rose and then wildflowers, and I actually really had to get this one touched up because I got it in the winter and I definitely at one point scratched it, so it's not perfect. And I also I'm gonna try and find the artist for this one and link them down below. Hopefully I can find them, but if not, I'm sorry. It's been a while, and also I don't remember exactly where I got it in Paris. But I got this tattoo after the election because I was really depressed. I was living in Paris during the presidential election, and you know, things did not go my way. And, you know, it was really hard being in another country during that time and to be so isolated. And I just sort of, I knew that the next 2 years were going to be difficult, as they have been. And I knew that I would kind of want a constant reminder of beauty and good. And so that's why I got this tattoo, because I wanted that sort of reminder that, you know, at my best, I am an optimist. That whole La vie en rose, like, saying is definitely part of it. And I just wanted, you know, also a reminder of that time when I was living in Paris and, you know, I was alone, but I grew so much while there. And yeah, so that is the Paris bouquet. The next tattoo I got, this is the first tattoo I got with my now like sort of standard tattoo artist. I go to her for everything because she is brilliant, and her name is Dani. She tattoos at Blackfish Tattoo here in New York City, and she's just amazing. She's so like nice and kind. I love getting tattooed by her. It's so chill. It's like honestly the least pain I've ever had getting a tattoo, and I love, like, her artwork is just so stunning and detailed. She does fine line tattoos, which is my preferred style of tattoo. Like, I love fine line single needle style tattoos. I know that there is some controversy around that style of tattooing. My recommendation is, if you like fine line tattoos, you know, do your research, recognize that they're, you know, some people hate them, some people love them. Personally, if I couldn't get fine line tattoos, I probably just wouldn't get any more tattoos, because this is the style that I like, and I don't like other styles on me. Like, I love them on other people, it's just not what I want on my body. And I, you know, I've definitely done all my research on how fine line tattoos fade and age over the years, which I think is really important to do no matter what. And I take good care of my tattoos too. I prefer this style of tattooing. It's very detailed, and I just think it's really beautiful. So anyways, the tattoo that I ended up getting with her is a heart on my upper thigh, and it is sort of that traditional style mom tattoo, but instead of saying mom, it says myself. It is a self-love tattoo. I got it in a spot that I feel like women are constantly told to hate and berate themselves over, and I just, like, I love it. I love the meaning behind it, and I love that reminder of, like, loving yourself and not be, like, unabashedly loving yourself, you know, to the point where you'll get a tattoo of it. And I really appreciated that sort of thought behind it. So that's what I got for that. When I posted it, I even used that Lorde quote from Liability, or is it Liability? I forget the song, where she talked about, like, basically herself being the love of her life. And I appreciate that and feel that deep within me. The next tattoo I got is the Korean tattoo. So this is right above the bouquet over here, and it's this 2 lines in Korean, and these are the first 2 lines in the song Arirang, which, if you are Korean, you're probably very familiar with. It's like, it's not the national anthem of Korea, but it's like a very famous Korean folk song. It goes Arirang arirang arario arirang goge로 남막한다, etc. So yeah, I grew up with my mom singing that song to me, and I just have, like, every time I hear it, I just think of my mom. It brings me so much joy, and I love, you know, the lyrics of that song when you translate them. I love them. And so yeah, it just means a lot to me. And so I got those 2 lines sort of in tribute to my mom, who is my favorite person in the whole entire world. And I'm about to start crying because I just love my mom so much. So yeah, I got those 2 lines. And again, this was done by Dani. It's super delicate and fine line, and I just think it's absolutely beautiful. And then that brings me to my very last tattoo, my most recent one, and it is this one over here on my arm, and it is a little snow globe, and it is, and inside of it is Winnie the Pooh holding Piglet's hand, with a little Christmas tree in the background. And this I got in dedication to my father, who passed away a few years ago, and I was incredibly close with my dad. He was definitely my best friend growing up, and when I was little, he would call me Pooh, Winnie the Pooh, because, you know, I loved Winnie the Pooh, and I grew up to him reading Winnie the Pooh to me and watching the films, and it just, like, I love those stories. They hold so much, like, nostalgic meaning for me. I got Winnie the Pooh and Piglet, and I got it themed around Christmas and winter because he passed away a few days after Christmas, and it was always my favorite holiday to spend with him because it was, you know, he always went above and beyond for Christmas, and I felt really loved that season. And I loved all the Christmases that I got to spend with my father. And in a lot of ways, I feel like, you know, he kind of held on those last few days to have one last Christmas with us. So I knew that I wanted to get something that sort of encompassed all of that, and that's why I ended up getting this. And I love it. Again, I got this one done with Dani. It is newly healed. I love it. I love how just pretty it is, and every time I look at it, I just think about my dad and how much I love him and how he's always with me, even though he's not here in person. And yeah, so those are all of my tattoos. I definitely want a few more. I know I definitely want a Sailor Moon tattoo. That's probably next up for me, but and probably a Ghibli tattoo at some point, but I can't fully decide what I want. But yeah, I love all of my tattoos. I got them at various stages in life. Even the one that I don't love, I love, you know, because they're all reminders of a person that I am, or something that means something to me at, you know, either the time that I got it or still to this day. And I'm just thankful for all the experiences that I've had and the tattoos that I've been able to get. So again, I will link Dani for sure down below, and if I can find the artist that I went to in Paris, I will also link her. And thank you guys so much for watching this. I'd love to hear in the comments down below if you have any tattoos, or if there are any tattoos that you're hoping to get, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Bye!